going to be a Graves jungle. This is something we've not seen for a little while here in the LPL. Fell well out of favor a little while ago. It looks like it will be the Jinx alongside it. What do you make of this Graves lock-in here?
The entire series, JD Gaming has tried to get Kanavi to hard carry them, which is pretty weird on this draft. Like you mentioned, I think that right now, junglers are much better suited to just work in sort of how SOFM is piloting them. Just going for a pure utility role. You don't have as much gold as in previous patches. So it's a little bit weird to see them trying to force this over again and again. And what JD Gaming are looking for right now is, I assume they do have to pick something that has very strong priority in the mid lane. Most likely a Zoe pick is on the cards for them. They want something that can push into the enemy jungle, and as we've seen from Graves before, if you aren't counter jungling, if you aren't taking away the enemy farm, it's not really that worthwhile of a pick. If you just split sides, it doesn't work because you don't provide enough oomph in the mid game and you can't get ahead.
See if Kanavi can prove us wrong now, because if there's any jungler that can carry, it's Kanavi. That has been his style for forever. Maybe he can make this Graves pick work even after its atrocious win rate across the course of this split. It's going to be the Nart banned away by JDG here. The Azir was banned by FPX, and wouldn't be too surprised to see something like the Twisted Fate or the Orianna banned as well, but you could always save the Orianna and just blind pick that for Doinb.
Yeah, they definitely could do that. Right now, FPX are setting themselves up for a very strong 4-1 type of composition. I like that they're banning out the Scion. They want to put zoom on something that's a little bit more dangerous. And if you think about the composition, they have two globals from the bottom lane that could go into the top side, and they also have a jungler that can disregard towers. So this is a draft that is very, very much focused on snowballing Nuguri to the maximum degree, and JD Gaming have to think about their options here. I almost feel like this forces JD Gaming to go for just a pure weak side top laner in something like an Ornn and just not contest the lane. They can't expect to win with this much help coming from the rest of the match.
I never underestimate JDG's ability to draft into those kind of situations though, my friend. It looks like they are hovering the Ornn. The Jayce was locked in for Nuguri. Incredibly strong blind pick, top laner. It looks like JDG reading the situation. You mentioned the Ornn yourself. It looks like that might be the pick for them. Then towards the mid lane, what are you expecting from JDG? Because it feels like this is a composition that Orianna could work wonders.
Yeah, I feel like they don't necessarily need sustained damage anymore, so I think the Zoe is actually fine. You have targets like Jayce that are actually fairly easy to kill here. So I would chance for something like the Zoe. Orianna is kind of the standard answer, I'm not gonna lie. Ori would round out the comp beautifully, but they're JD Gaming, so I personally do like Zoe a little bit more. Yagao's been very consistent with the champion. We have to give him that. He has been able to consistently snowball. And for FPX, honestly, anything's fine here. As long as they have some sort of a wave clear champion, I think they could be happy with it. Probably not going to go for a brawler necessarily. I think that's a little bit too risky. Just going to go for a Viktor that can take them over to late game. And this is one of those drafts where I feel like JD Gaming legitimately have a chance this time. This is a much better draft from game 1 and game 2, you know?
I love the nonchalant way in which you're saying there is a reasonable world in which JDG wins the game of the series.
There was no reasonable
That shouldn't be this much of an achievement. That should not be that big of a deal. That should be the expectation. But Yagao on this Zoe, it's very much a signature for him. Doinb as well on this Viktor. I think a lot of people don't realize the Viktor is actually somewhat of a Doinb signature pick from way back when, so very much comfort. the champs that we do see that with. And it looks like it will be exactly that. LwX going with that sickle to start us off. So we'll see the fasting Senna in that bottom lane. And see how coordinated Tian is with LwX. See if they kind of go on those little journeys through the jungle together to make sure those souls are being picked up.
Okay, not a lot of chance coming through necessarily. I believe this game is actually being played in Beijing. JD Gaming have their own stadium, so should be a home crowd advantage for them.
I want to reset the stakes here as well, Clement. Coming into this series, every single person on the caster team of the English LPL predicted JDG. JDG were coming in off of a massive win streak in the regular split. They were coming in as favorites that played through Zoom in the top side. Here in this series, FPX on the red side, 2 games in a row, have been able to draft to shut Zoom down and play really strongly through Nuguri. And LwX has been the star carry that's been popping off in these fights. It feels like now, with their backs against the wall, JDG have reinvented how they're going to play this game. They're going to be sticking Zoom on the tanks. And when you think about Zoom last year, Ornn was easily one of his most played champions, easily one of his strongest champions. Feels like maybe going back to vintage 2020 JDG could be the answer.
True. I do like this a lot better from JD Gaming. They have a front line that they can actually brute force with. This is the thing about JD Gaming. A lot of the times, I feel like their engages are very obvious. They catch you out by surprise because they are decisive, not exactly because they come in at different angles or they're very tricky in terms of their engages. So with this composition, they are allowed to just engage whenever they see an opportunity to go for it. There are very easy go signals when you land like the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, or if you just catch FPX out in the open. So this should fit their current style a lot more. And I also think that this gives them a late game to fall back on. FPX are the ones that actually need to, get a bit of an advantage coming into the Jayce lane. They need to get him ahead, make sure that he's still relevant come team fights. So it's a lot more tenacious of a draft coming in from JD Gaming. They're not going to crumble like in game 2 post 50 minutes.
Yeah, I expect to be a little bit more action, and I'm hoping even if it is a 3-game series, Clement, I hope at least it's similar to game 1, not game 2, right? Where game 2 was very, very one-sided in favor of FPX, and Tian would very much like that to happen again, threatening a tower dive right at the very start of the game here. There's a big old wave there for Zoom. I think he'll be okay. I don't think they'll quite be able to just brute force this one, but I've been wrong before, and I might be wrong on this one. Tian's going to walk in. The minions are under. What can Zoom do? Has his flash available. The stun is there. Jumps over. Flash away from Tian. Now Nuguri taking the tower. He's supposed to flash as well. The shot goes in. Nuguri somehow survives. Both 1 HP. It's a double for Zoom!
Oh, Zoom with the cheeky play right there. That was a really smart play. Most critically, he actually flashed out of the Sky Splitter. The Sky Splitter magic damage didn't land on him. He was able to get away after the stun, and he also did a really smart thing. He bought himself a ruby crystal right before the dive was coming in. That was a really risky dive to execute from the beginning, and look at this. Sky Splitter doesn't land. He gets out, forces Tian to then walk back in. Nuguri takes 2 tower shots already, and the minions are killing him.
Yeah, he had to flash out into a minion wave that then finishes him off. Zoom is massive. He's the weak side. He's meant to be the weak side of the map right there. And he's 2-0 with 20 CS. Tian now being bullied out of his bottom side jungle as, guess what? Kanavi's on Graves. He's on a carry jungler. Like, I don't like the Graves pick right now. I think that has been very regularly told to the audience how much I dislike this pick of the current meta, but when Kanavi's playing it and when he's able to punish Tian like this, I'm a fan.
Yeah, when FPX commits suicide, then you can walk into their jungle quite easily. That's definitely one way to get tempo advantage. And this is going to be the second camp so far that Kanavi might just take away. Ooh, we do see it being smited away.
1v1 here. Kanavi's getting real low, but LvMao's moving into the situation.
No
flash available for Tian. That was an ill-advised contest from Tian. Sure, you did get the big wolf. Good job on that one. I don't think it was worth your life.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. He actually stayed around for the brawl after the Sky Splitter, and that was very suspect because they don't have any priority in mid. They know that LvMao is roaming around, and that was just kind of a freebie that given over to Tian. And right now, Kanavi's gonna run his jungle. Like, there's nothing Tian can do at this point anymore.
Yeah, Kanavi's gonna reset with that assist, and he'll be able to have a huge CS lead for himself. Already grabbed a Noon Quiver. We're 5 minutes into the game. You've got a Bramble Vest on the top side. If you wanted a good early game from JDG, any JDG fans watching this game right now, you should be rejoicing because they are set up beautifully in this one. We said how Tian and Nuguri had to be the leading force in the early stage of the game for FPX, and those are the two players that are falling short right now. Yagao actually getting Chaos Stormed in the mid lane.
Yeah, just a bit of a reset one coming in from there. And I do want to point out the bot lane also is bleeding out super heavily after that play. They had to defend their own Krugs, walk back, and they were facing a 4v2 dive in the bottom lane. So they couldn't farm up, and honestly, JD Gaming not only winning out on the top side, they're winning out on the bottom at the same time.
I would say that JDG are winning out on the bottom side, and FPX are losing out on the top side. You know, I feel like it's a little botched. I'm not gonna lie, but Kanavi now can move into this mid lane and just help Yagao finish this wave off. Yagao's recall getting denied multiple times there by Doinb, so he is just going to be stuck in that mid lane with no mana whatsoever. Needs to try and reset the wave and get himself back off to base, so should finally be able to actually do that for himself. And here's one of the beautiful things about this Ornn pick for Zoom. He can sit here all day long. He never even has to recall because he's not going to struggle too much for mana. Even if he does, he's got 2 biscuits there. He can just craft himself items. So Nuguri never gets a chance to have any real pressure in the top side.
Yeah, he's also not dealing much damage whatsoever. LvMao finds the hook, but that should be just about it.
Kanavi slides into the play. Just should get some damage and back away, though, because we knew Tian was there as well. Dragon is up on the map. Let's remember that JDG in playoffs before this... Oh, that hook on the blast code. That was blind, by the way. Very nice little hook there from LvMao, but this is a team that loves to go for first Drake. First Drake is on the map. They have priority on the bot side, and you expect them to start this one off.
So I think what the play right now for JD Gaming is they have full mid priority with the Zoe versus Viktor matchup. Viktor doesn't really get wave shove until he gets that transformation on his death ray. So JD Gaming are looking to just crack open this bottom lane. They know the enemy jungle cannot secure his own jungle at this point. Kanavi can just walk in whenever he likes. So as long as JD Gaming just clear this bottom side and constantly just snake Yagao towards the bot, it's going to be really difficult for FPX to play.
Just keeping Lwx safe here as Loken is just having a whale of a time down in the bottom side.
Collateral damage is coming in.
Early lanes, Rocket comes in, Kanavi's off to the side. He's level 6 right now. Lwx low on HP. One more auto and the ulti would finish the job. Crisp having to cleanse away the trouble bubble right there. Will walk away with their lives, but there's a huge amount of pressure being layered in on this bottom side. That'll be demolished, not actually procced, but they'll be able to finish off that play. And now look at this, the dive being attempted on the top side. Zoom clearing the wave as fast as he can. Tian under the tower, dodging the Sky Splitter again, flashes away, but the tower is deactivated. Doinb is here. Surely it works out this time as the kill is gifted to Nuguri. Oh my days, that could not have been dicier.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure that's totally worth it for FPX. They spent a lot of time just securing that one kill, and they're only going to get a plate for it. It's going to get traded back completely on Zoe's end, and they don't have the HP bars to actually do a Herald play either. So this is just almost a desperation play from FPX, trying to make sure Nuguri has some impact in this game.
Yeah, Zoom able to get so much out of that one, able to survive for a long time. This finally go down, but at the same time, a ton of CS lost in the mid lane. It was a one tower plate for one tower plate ultimately across the board. LvMao. It looks like he's fishing for a hook, but he doesn't have anyone near him. Just going to hold the wave instead as the recalls come through from Lwx and Crisp. And Loken will be able to get back there. Important to mention, 3 plates have been taken in this bottom side by Loken and LvMao. While all of this has been going on, they got yet another plate for themselves. They are miles ahead in the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, I think JD Gaming's game plan is very easy to execute right now. they just send Graves into the enemy bot side jungle, they make sure they take that bot lane tower, and they start rotating. So FPX are in a tough situation. I think their game plan has, they need to take down this top lane tower before JD Gaming can finish the bot and then rotate towards the top lane. So this is going to be a pretty early Herald drop from FPX. I don't think they're going to hold on to this one. It should just be looking to make a repeat play into the top side. In the meantime, JD Gaming going bot like they always do in this match.
Yep. Here we go. Looking for another dive. Yagao's even moving over as well. They want to secure this tower. They want to finish this one off. You can see Kanavi just doing the gromp for now. They won't really commit. Kanavi, in fact, going to be able to get some wolves as well. A little bit of a bonus on top of this one. Is the Herald now actually going to be dropped in the mid lane here by Tian? Who's going to look to get some plates for Doinb.
Okay, this is an interesting decision. They're not going to get the tower on this one, so they do get a bit of gold, but crucially, it doesn't really stop the rotation from JD Gaming being made. I think that's the big difference about taking the top lane rather than the bot. So they're actually a little bit more afraid about getting zoned out completely from the top lane wave at this point. So interesting decision here, but you can kind of read the mentality out of this game plan. They just want to make sure that the laning phase can continue as is right now, and they're not denied from any farm.
Yeah, I can understand that mentality, right? Just trying to keep your carries slowly but surely building up, because ultimately, even if in terms of that lane matchup in the top side, you'd expect FPX to have to really accelerate. They do still have a Senna and a Viktor. It's not like the scaling doesn't exist for FPX. So when we get later on into the game, it's still very doable for them. And they're only 1,000 gold down. So still relatively even in the grand scheme of this game. Drake going to be coming up in a minute's time, though. And with JDG having the early lead across the board here, and especially when you look at the difference between AD carries, those tier 2 boots do so much for a Jinx. You'd expect that to be JDG with the advantage once more.
So I do want to point out on the map right now, there is a teleport advantage for JD Gaming going into the bot side. We had Doinb teleport directly back into the mid lane to make sure that Yagao can't roam. And that does open up some potential opportunities for this to go down. In the meantime, Loken actually getting chunked out quite a bit, but Doinb as well.
Yeah, that'll answer that one. Chunk for a chunk, if you will. As you rightly say, Loken down to about half. They're actually sort of getting sieged in that bottom side, but Zoom able to clear his wave. As you rightly mentioned, TP's available, and Nuguri, well aware of that, is going to reset before this Drake kicks off right here. So both sides can TP on in. Yagao now going to re-enter the mid lane with that TP of his own. Has Spellbook, so he can get Ignite for this fight as well.
It's going to be very powerful. We have seen that chunk come out. They're just going to look for one poke onto Doinb, head everything into the bot lane, finish this tower up, and they're already starting Drake at this point. So should be unanswered coming in from FPX. I don't think this is a fight they really want to take.
Oh no. LwX! What? Why? Why?
I don't know. I have no answers for that.
He just solo walks into river as a lone AD carry that doesn't even have items. I don't know at what point in the thought process that seemed like a good idea, but he just gets one shot by Kanavi. Like the Drake was pretty much already guaranteed. That's just the Drake plus a kill at a silver platter.
Yeah, and it also means his bot lane tower is about to go down at this point. It's JD Gaming don't even finish it off on this wave, and it means that they could come again for this play. I do expect them to just try to cheat a recall after this one. They don't mind letting the tower just stay up there because it's actually a very easy kill for them at this point. And FPX, we have to look at cross map right now. Their bot lane is bleeding out very heavily, and top lane, Nuguri is ahead, but I wouldn't call that enough of a lead to really impact.
Marginally, yeah.
Yeah, he only has one plate worth of gold there as well. Had to split it with his jungler, so not really going to impact in terms of a side lane split pusher.
Yeah. And when you factor in the 2 kills that Zoom got early on in the lane, I mean, that lead doesn't exist ultimately, so not ideal. Yagao actually getting ulted here by Doinb. What is that? Paddle start damage. Good flash from Doinb to dodge away from Kanavi's ulti right there. Nuguri trying to finish this tower off, and Zoom's not having any of it as he tries to bully the Jayce. But I imagine that tower will now eventually go down, and Zoom's kind of stuck. Nuguri can herd him in as Tian starts to move over towards this tower himself. Does have that ulti available.
Zoe is
Minions
coming.
come in, but Zoom does manage to bypass him in the end. It's just going to be the tower going down.
Yep, tower for tower trade, and FPX even get 300 extra gold for that one, so pretty well done. They come in at the right moment. Every bit of gold definitely helps into that one. And now is the real question for FPX. They elected to not take top tower too early because they were worried about this, about Zoom actually just freezing them out on the top side, and FPX not being able to find a play on the map. That is very detrimental to them, and I think you know, it's potentially possible for JD Gaming to actually just hold this one. They're not going to do so. They're going to push out on the map, and I think they're probably just looking at getting onto. Has there been double heralds already? I feel like we're still missing one. Huh.
No, the next herald's about to spawn.
Yeah, okay. And they're probably just pushing out for double herald play. Yeah.
Yeah, so you expect JDG to try and fight for that second herald. I believe it was Tian that got the first herald. They dropped it in that mid lane to get a bit of gold for Doinb. But you expect JDG, with how much they've been in control of the map so far, to be able to fight for that second herald. Nuguri has swapped down towards the bottom side. See Tian, he's foregoing this herald. Not interested at all. He wants to try and punish Zoom. Spotted out on a ward though. An exhaust from the unsealed spellbook from Zoom does mean that he'll be completely safe. Even if the tower goes down, JDG are okay with this trade.
I don't really like this trade coming out from JD Gaming. I feel like they're giving over a bit too much. It's going to be 2 towers going down for that one Drake. Oh, actually, they make it back in time. So I guess miscalculation on my side. They will be able to still hold out mid in the same time. And this is a risky play.
Here we go, all in from both sides.
Oh,
Ornn ulti across 4 people! That is unreal from Zoom. Oh, comes in onto Crisp as well. And this is an easy fight for JDG. Out of nowhere, they blow the game open. Herald in the mid lane as the double goes through for Kanavi. Suddenly feels very JDG favored.
Yeah, they were stuck behind a tower coming in out of that play, and Zoom just caught them off guard with that long-range Call of the Forge God, lining them up and knocking him down. It's going to be 2 towers in favor of JD Gaming, and the side lanes really don't exist for FPX anymore. They can't send people to farm that top outer. Ooh.
Oh, LwX in trouble, flashes over the wall. Another charge onto the inhib tower, but now the counter engage. Tian going to be there, but Loken zips out of the Dark Passage. Senna, Dawning Shadow is available. I don't think it'd be quite enough damage to finish off Loken just yet, and it looks like LwX not even going to chance for it.
That's a pretty decent escort coming in from FPX. They nearly get the heal, and this should set them up for vision on top of the Drake. So this is FPX's chance to kind of come back into this one. They should be having these blind spots where they can poke people out with, and they do have the Senna and Nuguri that can deliver a lot of pain here. So the critical thing about this one is we just want to see if they can find that poke damage onto Loken, dissuade them from the Jake, and maybe even find a kill. This is just disgusting. This was a really risky play from FPX. I don't think they should have taken the path underneath the tower that they did, and it just sets up Zoom to completely decimate them on the back end.
Yeah, really, really nice stuff from Zoom, and obviously Kanavi there to sweep up the kills with Gale Force. FPX, though, on the reset will be able to grab this Drake for themselves, thanks to having that bot tier 1 taken already. They have a lot of space port on the bottom side of the map, and Nuguri is able to just push Zoom in constantly, just keep him subdued with the minion wave. Will be traded though as JDG. You can see Loken on the minimap is up towards that top tier 1. Should be able to finish that tower off. This is the beauty of Jinx. Even in the early game, once you get a few levels into that queue, you can shred towers.
Yeah, you get that extra attack speed coming in from the Pow Pow. And it's going to force a rotation out of FPX. And look at how much vision JD Gaming has. They have double wards around the red buff. And this is where they could potentially find picks if they want to collapse onto it. It's actually fairly dangerous for FPX to path through their own red at this point. Zoe now also collapsing onto the top side. And it might be a fight around red, which I think would be massively in JD Gaming's favor.
Passage comes through. Kanavi not taking it just yet because he wants to be there
Oh,
to help out his old pal Yagao.
really well done by
Chris. Gets the red buff. Yeah, just gobbling the red buff up. Like, Tom Kench doesn't mess with fights for buffs. It's the same with Sintra, right?
Yeah.
You just snag that for yourself.
You always forget about that one, but I guess FPX don't have to fight over anything, so they just get that one scot-free. A good play from JD Gaming, but that's just the thing about Tahm Kench. You can always just snack that away with the tongue lash into regurgitate. You can take it away from a distance, actually.
Yeah, it's really nice to see from FPX being able to defend their territory a little bit. So let's revisit the compositions here for a second, Clement, because I feel like we're going to have a bit of a break with the next Drake being 3.5 minutes away. I feel like that's going to be a huge point of contention. We talked about JDG having advantages, especially this Jinx in the late game. How is this composition from FPX going to function as the game goes later on? Because it does feel like they have side lane advantages that they can use.
Yeah, FPX do have the Jayce to kind of split the composition for JD Gaming up. If it comes to a straight-on team fight, I feel like JD Gaming just have way too much firepower. At this point, Kanavi can obliterate the backline by himself. Collateral damage into end of the line. Well, if Zoom does that, it might change the equation.
Zoom is pretty deep here, but Dark Passage, it's fine. Continue your point, Clement.
I'm very surprised about Zoom's play today. He seems to really be having an off day, trying to go in for that one. I think what happens is FPX, they actually need someone to take to keep their eyes on Kanavi and force him out of the backline. Because if I'm Kanavi, I'm actually very willing to trade my life for depleting the entire backline HP bar on FPX. If he does that, the fight's just over, and it's a very high chance that they'll get chased down by Get Excited. So I think they need Tian to actually hold back and just leave the stun for Graves if he tries to come in and go for that play. In the meantime, the rest of the team just tries to poke as much as possible.
See, so it's all about trying to poke and peel from the side of FPX if they can just hold JDG at bay during these fights.
Yeah.
I will say, can be easier said than done, especially against Yagao Zoe, because we saw it in game number 1. This guy is on fire today. He is feeling himself today on the Zoe. I'm excited to see some of these fights. I think he's going towards that Horizon as his second item as well. So the bubble combo it's just insane. It does so much damage. There is no counterplay to that kind of damage. So definitely when we get towards those fights, keep your eyes on Yagao because he really can shine.
Yeah, that's a very deadly item combination right now. Already 200 AP from the items here, and he gets 10% extra amplification already on that one. So it's going to be very, very deadly. In the meantime, going for a play on the bottom side, and Nuguri, he can only go forward here. He has no retreat path. The rest of FPX can potentially rush for Baron, but it's a risky play.
Oh, no. Nuguri, you're in all kinds of trouble right here, taken down by Zoom. That's Zoom's hat trick in this game. You mentioned the potential Baron play. FPX try to make a move towards mid lane, but Yagao's on Zoe. He just one-shots the wave and moves on with his life. So Lwx now moving up to the rest of the squad, who are toying with the idea of a Baron, but it's far too late to make that play happen. Zoom has TP. They realize that this is a no-go.
Yeah, that was just Nuguri going a little bit too deep. His team wasn't in position in mid lane or close enough to Baron to really make that happen. And
oh,
LWX!
No! LWX got caught! The zap goes slightly wide here. LWX will get out with his life, but my goodness, that was a close one. If he gets caught there, that would have been Baron for sure for JDG.
I feel like LWX and iBoy, they have this kind of switch in them. If you give them 2 MVPs, then they kind of have that leeway to throw the game 3. And they're like, yeah, it's my time to shine now. I have to showcase who I really am.
Yeah, it feels like when things are going right, they perhaps get a little complacent. This will be Drake number 3, though, for JDG. He'll get back out onto the map off the back of forcing LWX back. He's going to be late to the play, so another pickup. JDG now on Soul Point. And none of that wishy-washy Cloud Soul nonsense that we saw in Game 1 and 2. This is an Ocean Soul. This is one worth fighting for. So 5 minutes time, you expect FPX have to put their foot down and try and contest JDG on the map.
True. This is going to be a pretty difficult one. The great thing about FPX, though, is they are playing a poke composition and they are red side. So they don't actually need to walk into the river to put a lot of pressure on Baron. You can't pull a Baron anyway, so you're always going to be in range of poke. And this is an interesting play by Nuguri, but he is spotted out.
Double TP. Everyone's here to finish off Yagao. Does have a Zhonya's, but it's only going to buy him a few seconds. Good pick from FPX. Baron on the cards here. LvMao and Kanavi have to buddy up to try and escape in the jungle. Nice pickup for FPX. And if they can use this opportunity to snowball, they could look at bringing themselves a third game here. JDG have to contest. Barrett down to half HP already. Loken is on this Jinx, and he's huge. Zoom ult knocks up 2, but it's not really found them a way in. Kanavi just over the wall.
Does have flash. He's
to try and go for the steal here. Jumps over. Can he get it? Kanavi gets the steal and a kill to boot as well. Zooms in the middle of everyone is Loken. He's free firing. Kanavi's back there as well. Double kill for the Graves. Make it 3 as Kanavi proves that carry jungle still exists. And he's the king of them. The zap on in as Chris will fall for the quadra.
Scumbag Loken makes sure there isn't a pentakill, but this is the JD Gaming we wanted to see. Being able to play very front to back, not being afraid of just going into the enemy composition, and that was such a good angle of attack from Kanavi. He goes over the wall on the backside and executes Tian on that play as well. The base is wide open. They should get this inhibitor, but not yet the Nexus.
Kanavi does not care about your meta. Carry junglers are his style, and he still manages to make the Graves work. Despite its appalling win rate across the LPL this split, he's still able to come up clutch. 7-0-1 for Kanavi in this game. Just look at this steal. It is down to the wire, and he gets away with it.
Yeah, he does have a massive level advantage over Tian, so does have the better smite into that one. We see Tian try to use the unstoppable. That was actually a pretty good play, making sure that he wasn't able to be crowd controlled. But after that one, Kanavi unloads all of his damage, and Loken is just free frying in the front line, while Ornn has tanked up most of the threats from FPX. So really well done by Kanavi in making that one happen, and now they're 7,000 gold ahead. 2 minutes right before an Ocean Drake. This almost looks like an unwinnable position for FPX.
Especially if Doinb's caught out in the bottom side as well. Oh, Crisp saves him. Can he get the snipe? Zoom throws the ramp, knocks him up the bleed. The heal comes through. Doinb barely gets out with his life. I don't think it matters that much in the grand scheme of things. Nuguri, though, does get a tier 2 in that top side of the map. He's trying to answer. JDG, nobody's even recalling just yet. Zoom finally will go back. Nuguri can get a lot of work done. How are FPX winning out this trade?
They get the tower. I think JD Gaming hesitated there. They didn't want to pull the trigger so early. They thought that maybe Nuguri was going to back off, and Nuguri just stared them down, held his ground, is going to go forward. But now with FPX, finally with Doinb at full health, they can continue to push in.
Nuguri needs to reset right here. He's looking for the inhib himself, but he might just trade it for the game. That's going to be the inhib taken by JDG. They can push for more if Nuguri stays in that top side of the map right here. They're pushing Baron minions into the base. Nuguri getting chased down by Zoom in the 1v1. Ornn's not meant to win that 1v1, but he does because it's Zoom. And now into the base go JDG. They're looking to close this one out. They are looking to get a game in a series that they should have been favorites. Loken's caught out, Dawning Shadow across the team, but there's no follow-up. There's no damage to finish the Jinx off. Crisp manages to keep his jungler alive. LwX goes in, but he trades his own life. Can't finish the kills off. Yagao now getting chased out. Doinb here to chase him up because the slow comes down, and it's a triple kill somehow for Crisp.
Not exactly the best kill distribution, but FPX do hang on in the 4v4. They had multiple fountain trips into that one, and were also able to get Lwx alive for a very long time. Loken unfortunately had to walk up into range for Chris' tongue lash to get that final kill, and that just means the push is off. And surprisingly enough, this actually ends up to be a pretty decent play for FPX. They take away the Ocean Soul, and they also trade on an inhibitor. So no longer can JD Gaming just all in onto the bot lane. FPX do have an avenue to suddenly finish the game with double TPs. Kanavi?
Oh no, Kanavi. No. Okay, he's fine. He's fine. He's out of there. Tried to go over, tried to get the steal. It was blind, so it was just a little bit too late on that one. We'll survive. Take another look, because that got real tense.
Yeah, that was almost the game just going down right here. JD Gaming are not really willing to wait out the death timer on Nuguri. They just go right in here, and this is a pretty favorable trade for FPX. Trading away the 80 carries means the siege just isn't on anymore, and Chris is with the red buff able to. That was kind of funny watching him tongue lash Zoe to death.
I just love that he got both carries. He just walks up like, look, I may be Tahm Kench, but I'm still crisp. I'm still the best support in the league right now. In my humble opinion, anyway. I'm sure that's very contested. I know Dagda will be furious hearing me say that. But let's reset here, because double inhib was taken by JDG. They have a lot of pressure in the mid and bot lane. Nuguri on the wrong side of the map right now, but he does have teleport available. And even without Baron, let's be honest, JDG pretty good at Siege.
Yeah, this is a great one coming in from FPX. Honestly, if Jayce is there, it doesn't really change the equation that much. JD Gaming now going for a risky full-on engage past the tower.
Yeah, they go for the Ornn ult. Zoom going to continue to push on forwards. They've just got a race right here. They've got to go faster than Nuguri can. Somehow, Nuguri is out-pushing JDG consistently on the opposite side of the map. He's looking for a second inhib. Nuguri, he doesn't need a good scoreline to 1v9 a game right here. Nuguri's Jayce takes a second inhib.
Oh, and I just don't like this play from JD Gaming. Trading is not in their advantage when they're up this much gold. They can definitely just send a pincer down for Nuguri and just hold on to the Baron pit. If you look at the timers, they were only 2 seconds away from this Baron coming up anyway. It would have been much safer for double TPs in the bot lane, denying Nuguri, and then just transitioning directly into a second Baron play. But I feel like they forced their hands and overthink it on the top side. Now they're going for another risky engage. I don't think it's going to work.
Zoom has to back away from this one. Nuguri's looking to follow up. Yagao has a Prowler's Claw to work with. Zoom is real tanky. Takes a lot of damage here. Survives for a second. Dawning Shadow across. Somehow still going, but finally falls down. Doinb low himself. Rocket going to be blocked by Nuguri.
In comes
low
Tian.
on FPX, but it doesn't matter because they've got reinforcements. In comes Tian. Down go the health bars. JDG falling. Kanavi has only just arrived. Blasts Doinb to another dimension and gets a kill on Tian as well. Goes in onto LwX. Kanavi, you absolute madman. He's 1v5 in the whole team. Somehow gets a triple.
That was so damn close. One auto attack away from just dropping down, and FPX could have just finished right there. I feel like FPX, this is great stuff from Nuguri. He's out IQing JD Gaming. JD Gaming, you guys might have the muscle, but you don't have the brains to go up against FPX's split pushing strategy. They could have timed that so much better from JD Gaming, and I'm so surprised that Zoom actually went for the second engage. That was a very low chance play, and something that would have thrown the Baron fight. FPX, rightly so, engaged directly after this play. They take a lot of free damage onto Zoom before the rest of the members can even come into this fight. And I want to see how Loken actually drops right here. This seems like a pretty good fight where they might be still able to hold on, but then Tian comes in with a massive Stormbringer, and Doinb flashes Death Ray just to get the kill. And this was the moment where I felt like it might be over, but Kanavi with a monster save. Collateral damage to kill Doinb, and then the walk back onto Crisp for the point-blank execute.
Yeah, Kanavi almost full build. FPX just run straight to Baron. Look how fast they burn through this one. JDG, they're not even aware. They don't even know what's going on just yet. The rocket gonna be blocked beautifully by Crisp, who I think Crisp is the MVP, honestly, for this game so far from FPX. He's been playing so well on this Tahm Kench.
Zoom ult coming
here,
down.
Looking for the knockups across the team.
Double?
Kanavi, you have to keep your eyes on him. What's LWX? But Crisp keeps him alive. Kanavi forced back into play. Zoom rejoins once more. He's tanky and will stop Crisp escaping. That's one. Can JDG find more? Can they keep themselves in this series? Doinb goes down to the collector of Kanavi, and Loken's got the resets. He's looking for more. The zap, will it connect? Just goes wide. Loken can't quite finish the kills. Look at Nuguri in the bottom side of the map right now. He's desperate to trade. He's desperate to finish the game, but the resets, Yagao's there to stop it.
Yeah, I think JD Gaming finally learned their lesson this time, and they're going for a 4v3 onto this play. They have FPX have to go in for the kill.
TP coming on through. Tian trying to contest on this one. The Nexus is bare. Tian down low on HP. Finish off. Get excited. Loken finally gets his time to shine with a triple. And JDG keep us in the series and push us to game 4.
LWX having a couple of bad moments here and there, and finally JD Gaming staying alive in this series. That was very close down to the wire, much closer than it should have been, and we see JD Gaming nearly faltering to the Nuguri split push and all of those smart collapse plays coming out from FPX. I think it's a bittersweet win right here. I think we've seen that JD Gaming understand how the meta is played, and they drafted a much more comfortable draft this time around. But their late game decision making for me was so shaky.
Yeah, that was a dicey at best win here for JDG. When you look at the scoreboard, when you just look at the stats alone, it looks like a really clear, convincing win from JDG. But when you look at the way they were playing the map, the way that Nuguri was outplaying them consistently, it makes you wonder what's going to happen for the rest of the series. And it has to be said, Kanavi, my man, get a chair, have a sit down. He might have to lay down on a hard floor, honestly, because he's going to have some serious back pain after this one.
Well, I think